Good evening, everybody. Welcome to
Yes,
the
of course.
CAC meeting. Couple of minutes after 7. Get started because we have a lot to just look at today. First thing that we do is we review the minutes from the last meeting, November 4th meeting. And any objections? To approval. Thank you. So anybody have any objections to the minutes, any corrections or anything? No?
Looks fine.
Motion to pass
I
them.
so move.
Oh, okay, got everybody taken care of. All right, we'll get right into our wetlands applications. First one was Gaia, which is 167 Ram Island Drive.
I don't think we have, I think they,
That was an interesting one because the letter of denial, they started this whole project and finished it without getting any permit. So I don't know why we really got it. It should have just stopped, but I'll make a comments, and then if anybody wants to add to it, they can. First comment is that the owner, the engineer, and the contractor should be fined for proceeding with the work without a permit. I think that just blatantly going in the face of the code, and I think it's a big, bad thing. And the penalty should be submitted as indicated in 129-12 for the penalties for offensive of that. They're quite high by doing that, but if we don't stop this, it's going to happen. I think it's a terrible thing for the owner might not be aware, but it should be, but the engineer is definitely aware of what has to be done. And the contractors, whoever it is, should be aware. Second comment was we should never issue a certificate of occupancy for that project or that building, which doesn't mean too much today to people, but years ago it used to mean something. With the insurances, they're self-insured and everything, they don't really care what happens, but it's unfortunate. But this way, it might be if an owner comes and wants to see, the certificate of occupancy, they won't have one. So I think we should just hold it back or tell the council, us to do that. Advice would be to tell them. The third thing is that they removed the irrigation well and the refuse bins from the vegetated buffer. They should be relocated. They're in there and they're existing and they should be relocated. And the fourth thing, I think we should insist that they install an IA septic system. As a matter of penalty or whatever, they should do that. They can give that as any mitigation for anything. So that's the 4 items I list. I don't know if anybody has anything else they'd like to add. Anybody?
I think my only comment would be the engineer probably came in after the fact, because when they got stopped, now they have to supply a lot of information, whereas it looks to me, I mean, I didn't really go through a lot of the paperwork
Right.
in the building department, but it looks to me like they were rebuilding the deck in kind, in place.
Right, exactly. That's what they would do.
And there was no permit issued, and they got a stop work order. And then the engineer came in after the fact, because they have to supply a lot of information for wetland permits and
Right.
things like that. So I think, as far as the engineer, and I don't know what the sequence of events was.
Exactly. Neither do I, but.
So the contractor probably should be held liable. The engineer, I'm not sure when he
Got in.
stepped into the project. It was probably after the fact, as they applied for the permit after the fact. And then, as far as withholding a CO, I don't believe you're legally allowed to do that. If they reach the criteria of finishing the building permit, you have to issue the CO. You can't,
Yeah, I,
as far as
saying,
analyzing them.
yeah, the C of O, I know buildings years ago, until the 30s or 40s, didn't require C of O. You just built and that was it, you know, but then as the laws got and the interiors became more electrical systems, more things going on, the C of O became important because the insurances would look for that to cover the building, cover the occupants that got hurt, and the lawsuits coming in. So I think it's an important thing, and you might be right that legally, but I would advise the town to look into that, to see if they can hold it back.
What are the consequences?
Well, the certificate of occupancy just said that something was built and it was built.
Yeah, okay, but what are the consequences of doing this?
Penalties?
Without permits?
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure you can fine the homeowner and you can fine the contractor. I'm not sure,
I've got a,
I know the town has, I'm not sure if there is a contractor review board in place right now. I believe there has been one brought back. Okay, so when they have a contractor review board, then that contractor would have to go and say, this is what I did and this is why I did it, and, you know, and then you could either suspend them or fine them or whatever. And the same thing, you know, through the wetlands, part of the town code, you can fine the homeowner. But, you know,
Fines.
that's sort of a gray area. I mean, when you have an existing deck that's rotten and you just replace what's there,
right.
that's a lot different than going, wait, let's build a new deck and go jam stuff in the wetland, you know.
I agree, but
You're looking at maintenance, you're looking at, you know, repairs, you're looking at things like that. So I think, you know, again, I don't know what was there before they did this.
the deck was in bad shape. It
But,
was there.
but
The
was-
deck was there.
Okay, so everything that was there is just being fixed.
Yeah,
It wasn't expanded upon.
Right.
no, I don't think it was anyway, but I don't,
That's the way it seemed.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Yeah.
right.
So again, you know, now you're looking at a repair. I mean, if your roof is leaking, you want to fix your roof. And your first thing as a homeowner, you'll be like, let's just fix it. I don't want somebody stepping through a rotten board.
It could also be a hazard to
And
someone.
then the contractor should know, saying, well, you know, this is a repair is X. This isn't a repair, this is a total rehab.
Right.
You know, gut.
Right.
And I do need a permit and I should go to the building
Yeah,
department.
there's a line where you need the permit and.
Has liability there, I think. The homeowner,
Yeah, I know, they probably,
so,
Didn't
you
even
know,
know
this
where
is
it was.
this is a
But they
tough one.
should.
They didn't do a whole lot outside of what was already there.
right, they didn't expand it.
So did they have a dumpster in the wrong place? Did they have a tractor go driving in?
It's fenced down and all of that, storage of the equipment and
Right.
trucks coming in and all of that other.
Is this all ongoing right now?
Well, they stopped the job
Finished.
in, I think, October, I think it was, something.
It's finished now, they did it.
They rebuilt the whole thing, and they found out after the fact.
And I don't know, you could maybe enlighten us, to get a C of O on a project that was done without a permit, there's nobody looking at it as it's going up, maybe, you know, the start of the building and those, you don't know if the supports were put in correctly by code or anything.
Mentioned here that the deck was not constructed to code.
Well,
And that
on the repair, yeah, because the code says you have to have a permit to do that work, the repair work, especially in the wetlands.
was it that? I think it's referring to,
I think it says.
I know, yeah.
I got two contractors on either side of me, so I can. The complaint was there and, you know, a year ago.
What framing requirements, so we need to know what that's about.
Yeah. So I just thought we'd bring that up and,
But again, now you have a deck that was built 25 years ago. If they don't touch, so they strip off the deck surface. If they don't touch the framing, you don't have to fix the frame.
but I don't know if the framing was rotten or what.
And they may have replaced it, and maybe that's, so again, that's a good question as far as, you know, what isn't up to code.
Right.
The footing
Is that an easy fix?
different now than they used to be.
The framing is all new.
Yeah, you can almost see that. On the-
So this framing, whatever there was before.
That's all new.
Was taken
Yeah.
down. That's
Oh,
all
okay.
new.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
if
So
there
that would
are-
have, and that looks like 2x6 has to be 2x8s. So that's a hard fix. And that, I think that should be a building department thing. So in order to issue the CO, now they have to go back and rebuild it correctly.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think that's punishment
You
enough.
know the site?
Oh, that'll be punishment.
Yeah.
That's a real nice, have you been out there? It's a beautiful deck.
No, I didn't go on the deck, but I know.
And now, can you
Exactly.
sister next to existing probably would be the best way? I guess you can notch around the beams, or that's gonna be a big,
A repair, if it's a,
or you rip the whole thing out and all that lumber.
and that's a mess.
Is sort of,
That's why I don't like.
that's mahogany and pressure, all this has to be ripped out?
Yeah.
So now can you just go next to what's there? You know, sandwich a piece?
Piece in, that's an extra.
So now you're talking engineer, an architect?
And you still
Maybe.
have to, unless you get underneath, you still have to take the decking off.
I don't know how it's put on.
Which, if it's, depends on how it's installed,
It's maybe,
it's done.
right?
It's cooked. If you take the
So we
screws
just
out the
tie a
edges.
rope and drag it to the dome? Start
But
again.
what they have to do there is then it's a whole new wetlands application because they have to show the silt fence,
Demolition,
all of that stuff, so I just.
There's a lot of deck there. There's almost as much deck as
Yeah.
there's square footage of the house.
More than the
house,
Goes all around, I mean, it's beautiful, but.
Is this primarily our problem?
I was gonna say, what is
Or
our
is it-
capacity
is
in
it-
this?
Is it a
Just to advise the board
Right. as far
building
as-
department?
planning, they would take it, and whether they take our advice or not, we don't know. You know, that's what they,
Well, if it's not up to code, they should take it out and apply for a permit and bring it up to code.
yes, I would say that, but the only thing is that might cause more damage in the wetlands than just repair.
But,
Yeah, but they would have to get a permit before they did it.
yeah, right,
Put in
state
silt
building
fence
code
and actually
requires
know
certain things, and
What's happening.
I think it's gonna be, you know,
However, is there additional work proposed?
No, just to repair the deck,
Done.
replace what was there, repair it.
The work we proposed, additional work.
Not not in the permit, that not what was there, it was a repair, replacement of the deck. I mean, they've done a lot of work there over the years, I guess, you know, they have a pool and everything on, so.
Who filed for the permit, the homeowners or the?
They didn't because.
There was nothing.
No permit.
Nothing.
built it without, that's why we're here.
Oh, okay,
They
so
ripped it all out and it's not up to code now. 'Cause it's not.
And rebuilt it, yeah.
Without applying, yeah, right.
without anything.
So now.
Not anything,
the
yeah.
Homeowner's in for the cost of all the work. Now all the engineering and surveys and
Redoing everything.
now rip the deck out. They're, oof,
Yeah.
It just,
it's a heavy hit.
seems that cases like this, if the town lets them go,
Right.
we're setting precedent.
Well, this is the contractor. The contractor should know that that's not code.
Yeah, but regardless
That's-
of who.
So
who
how do they get a
ultimately
license? How do they get
is-
the? It should all fall on the.
We don't even know who the contractor
It's
was.
all the contractors.
Homeowner sue the contractor.
Basically, what is
Exactly. So hopefully he's got insurance.
Sure, you
But
would think.
now he didn't get a permit. Maybe he doesn't have a license. So the question is, who did it?
You did
Are
it.
they licensed?
Boy, that's right.
Who are you? Where are you
But-
from?
but-
What are you doing?
The ultimate responsibility lies with the homeowner, right? It's his plot.
They're getting 6 ways
So
to Sunday.
whoever he or she hired is really a secondary problem, whether they have insurance license or whatever. You probably know better than I that there are contractors out there. They're rolling their licenses.
You really?
Really? Don't say it, Chris. No, most of the people.
true. You can make an honest mistake.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think everybody
That's
that
a lot of
works,
square footage of honest mistake.
everybody that works on Shelter Island, I think knows that once you reach a certain threshold for a repair, you need a permit.
Wasn't it?
I think so too.
I think it's moved to 10,000.
Is it 10?
It was 5, I think it's 10 now.
Yeah, I mean, just the decking,
And structural, if you need an architect or an engineer, if you want a little window, you want a big window.
yeah, 10 grand is
Most
nothing.
people know threshold for getting a permit. This looks like you probably need a permit.
Yeah, you would need.
And if they put new footings in, then they're digging holes within the wetlands instead of
Really?
concrete.
They seem to have just,
Hopefully there's footings.
they just put down blocks.
I didn't look under, oh, no, don't say that.
Yes, yeah.
That could be temporary.
Yeah,
What
that-
you do is you support it, and then when it's all built, you dig the permanent.
Well, it'll be interesting to find out what
You're supposed to.
Really?
the building
I used to
will do, but anyway, that's what we're saying.
Well, it's kind of rough to try to get away with something when your next
But again, as
ongoing project.
far as our purview, I mean, what are we
We just
voting
went
on?
up to the board
And
and
we make recommendations.
make advise
Yeah.
and make a
I
recommendation.
would say they need to get a building permit, they need to make it code compliant.
Right,
Yeah,
And I guess that would include a wetland permit.
sure.
And they seem to have the information they need for a wetland permit as far as surveys and all that. So they got step one covered. They pay the engineer. And again, you're going back to, you're saying the engineer should go and blah, 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 blah. If the engineer came in after the fact, they never would have spent this money if they weren't getting a building.
Well, I don't know.
Again,
I mean-
contractor review board, we don't have one.
yeah. Just a repair like this, though, wouldn't take as long as a regular project, probably, right?
No, shouldn't.
Shouldn't, you know?
But they have still put the
You still have to go
down.
through,
and
well, you still have to go
all
through the
kinds.
wetlands thing, but I mean,
Wetland's gonna kill you.
yeah, but I mean, if it's,
But, and the building permit isn't,
yeah.
there's no energy code, there's no time, isn't.
No, nothing.
It's fairly straightforward, but
A wetlands permit on an
the
existing,
way usually it happens is your application goes in the file and you're in line. So
Right.
it takes 3 weeks to get to you.
yeah.
It's gonna be a quick review, but it's not gonna
Yeah.
go right to the front of the line.
Right.
So we keep what I had, I guess, I think, let the town decide whether they're gonna fine him or something. I mean, I just give,
At least ask the question.
yeah, so I think as, make a motion that we accept the 4 items that I brought up, or anybody have more, do I read them again?
Read them again, yeah, just to make sure that the wording.
Okay, the first one was to fine the owner, the engineer, and the contractor for allowing work to proceed without a building permit, and the penalties to be as per section 129-12 for that work, but without a permit. It's listed right in the code, so. Second was, do not issue a certificate of occupancy, which, that's something, I don't know if the legal, but they would have to go all through the work, and you have to get a CFO approval by the building department, so I listed that. There's an irrigation well and refuse bins within the adjacent vegetated buffer. That should be, first, the irrigation, I'm not gonna go to the building department to see if there's been a permit for that installed, or if there is, whether proper backflow preventers are installed, or what the.
Well, that should be part of the review by the town board.
Yeah,
If they have irrigation, it should be legal.
it should be, yeah. I would say it's probably.
That's a rough spot to have irrigation down there. There's no water to start.
I know, and that's why I was concerned a little bit about the backflow, because you're gonna contaminate your aquifer without a backflow preventer. Well, that's, and the fourth item is install a new IA septic system. And we're sort of putting that on everybody when we review a project as a mitigation. So I put that in, so.
I mean, since there was no interior work, I don't think we should include the IA because technically it was just a renovation for the deck.
Built the deck.
They didn't do anything inside.
We'd like them to do it.
Yeah, we'd like for them to do
Okay.
it, but
That's a big ask.
yeah, that's,
You kind of,
Leave it in there. I mean, that's.
yeah, but they're gonna have.
We're
to
not
bring
the
it up
final
to code.
guys, so.
They can choose to pick and choose,
Yeah, right, I mean.
but it's definitely gotta be brought up to code. no
It's a
matter
good
what.
find.
Yeah,
And you want to make that consistent.
yeah, if they pick one of them.
Oh, yeah, in lieu of a fine, or, yeah, is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
Sure.
if they pick one of those.
If they are willing to choose that, yeah.
So make a motion to accept these four? Somebody?
We'll make a motion.
Okay, I.
Aye. Okay.
Now, that was easy. No, actually, that was the roughest part. I mean, a lot, especially, I don't know if their neighbor's going to complain, but anyway. The next one was Hemler at 13 Dickerson Drive. I was over there looking at it, and Damien, the owner, was there, and we went through everything. And they seem to be doing the right thing, and forget who the end consultants, Rob, he's very good with wetlands. He delineates it, so he's very knowledgeable of wetlands. So he's on that. So he's new to us. I haven't seen him on that, except as a wetland.
you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's familiar with it, and the property, so I think that looked okay to me. I had basically the site plan, there was one little thing on there that wasn't identified, and Damien, the owner, he wasn't sure what it was, but it would take a heavy piece of equipment to lift up the cap to see what's in there. I don't know if we got there to see, but. So all I did on the site plan was say, identify the existing cast iron cover and concrete slab, what it is, and so possibly fill it in. If it's just a hole in the ground or whatever, it's on the site plan. And there's one little error in the nomenclature, which is the key site plan. They list it as 100-foot. They list it as 75-foot wetback, and it should be 100 to the adjacent. So that's a minor item, that's a picky thing. And the existing well indicated to be used for irrigation purpose, to be abandoned. That's all.
And not used for
Not
irrigation.
used, yeah. Because they wanted to do that, so. Do not use for irrigation.
Just abandoned.
Unless they get a permit to put it, but I don't think in that area it ought to go. All right, so those are the three little items I have on that one, and so we voted to deny this one, except that they take care of the first one. This one, I say we should approve as it is. I'd take a vote on that.
Yep. I just have one.
Oh, sorry, Chris, I'm sorry.
They're abandoning a bunch of the driveway area,
Right,
and then they're putting a new driveway in here, and they're putting all of the septic system bleaching pools right next to the driveway.
yeah.
And since we're in charge of planting and things, I think that should get some sort of a planting
Well,
petition, because you're gonna tend to wanna, like, if grandma comes, you're gonna wanna drive her to the front door.
uh-huh,
And I'm not sure that those are gonna be traffic bearing product.
Yeah, most
You
every,
either put bollards there or
yeah, most of the stuff now, everybody's putting in traffic bearing.
you can drive on it.
Yeah, yeah.
That was the only, I just saw that adjacent.
It's a good
It's only
observation.
5 feet away.
yeah.
And I know I've been driving on my yard a lot lately. I just saw that, I was like, well,
Thank God it's been dry.
now it's getting, yeah, rain. Okay.
But I don't
That was
know,
my only other thing.
so I don't know if that's any, should we add that?
No, I mean, that was just,
I just-
you know, there's a drive on it, so that was my question.
Nobody's there for it, so.
Yeah, anybody-
But I could talk to Damien if I see him. I mean, I'm right around the block.
He's the guy.
Yeah,
He's the man.
yeah, I
No,
don't, that's fine.
I mean, everybody puts traffic bearing if anyone's never, because then you know everybody's gonna drive on it.
Yeah.
The worst thing is to have somebody go through something.
Yeah,
I know there was,
Except for it's
I drove by one day and there was a big giant truck in a dry well in a driveway. It was like,
Yeah, yeah.
That's not good.
all right, so we approved that with the slight three little items. Everybody.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
All right.
so that's a good one. Okay. Last one is 7 Larry Lane, which is off of Ram Island Drive going down to the area there. And this was, it's a big site. It's very good. I'll read my three things to this site. And then anybody has any objections or adds, fine to speak up. The first one is they were building the wall around the AC condensers. And I say they should somehow do it clear of the 100-foot vegetative buffer adjacent. It's down here. It's not a good plan. There's a bigger place. Get that out. Yeah. Yeah. So. It's right next to the entrance. See, it just, I think they could relocate that slightly and the condenser would be okay. Over here. Yeah. Yep, just somehow do something there. And that the, and the adjacent vestibule somehow be adjusted so they're adding a new vestibule in there, that it clears the 100-foot. Just here, the showers and everything in there in this side. So it's just partially in there, and since they're doing this whole driveway over edging, but if they could move that out. If they don't move it, it's no big deal. You're allowed within 100-foot, but I think it's a nice thing to do. We are trying to get that 100-foot set up. It's not in the code now, but we want to discourage building in the 100-foot. And the other thing is identify the type of fuel that's in the fuel tank. Proposed pool, proposed pool backwash. There's a fuel tank listed here. Here it is.
Yeah, right there.
It's there.
Cover, yeah.
So I don't know if it's,
Probably propane.
if it's propane, it's
They're
fine.
all propane, those
Yeah.
computers.
Yeah, I don't know when they put it in, but it's existing, so I just identify it, so we know it's not fuel, diesel fuel. So it's no big thing, but I just make it, they could say propane to cover that. And then, like I said before, reconfigure the entry level, the new entry with showers were removed to minimize the intrusion into the 100-foot land setback. So, if they can do it, it'd be great. If they can't, I don't see any major harm. That's the three items I have. Otherwise, it's they're putting in new IA system, which is great. But especially this area, they don't have water. Do we still have a 3-year waiting time?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's all, unless it's like a whole block pool,
Yeah.
if it's precast, if it's precast, it's still, I think once the money starts to flow in, other things are going to start to
Yeah, I hope
get past that
proposal.
proposal, yeah, so it's just them getting their act together. They're probably new inspectors and that helps.
Right.
It's gonna take them a while to get up to speed. Just not knowing if it was gonna pass, so you gotta wait.
Wait to see.
Yeah.
They can't hire
Yeah, they
people to
can't
say we're
do too
doing
much
this.
ahead of time.
No. So make a motion that we accept those three items and we approve this application.
Yep.
Okay, that's 7 to, so that's good.
When I did the septic system on this house years ago, it was a really wild thing. It's a real heavy marley clay. And then when you get down near the water, I was about a foot away from broken to sand, and the whole thing like erupted like a volcano. It came up with so much pressure, hold it back. And the whole thing filled up. Yeah, it was kind of almost like, that's the first time I ever saw that. The ground just like opened up like that and it just pushed up.
Really?
You wonder if should even have messed with that. We better leave that whole situation alone, you know?
But they have plenty of,
Yeah.
Is there a pond there now?
No, it's just the way the ground was, it was super hard, you know? And it came up about 3 or 4 feet. That's all it came up, but there was so much pressure, it just unfolded.
The corner of Cobbetts and Winthrop, there's that pond there.
Yeah,
They dug a foundation. The guy Garrity used to own the gas station.
Right,
He was gonna
right.
build a house. They started digging a foundation and the upwelling came in.
yeah.
Really, like, guess we're not building a house there. And they had the trusses leaning against the trees there for
Yeah, I
years.
remember that. Yeah.
wow.
Built up there.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's good. Now we got the special permit plan review. I understand this hasn't been really posted on the town website, so I'll just review it with you. I was there, the Gardeners Bay Country Club wants to, can't discuss it at all?
Open meeting for
Okay,
what it is.
okay.
Or,
Well, it's on the TAC site.
you
Oh, you didn't put the PDFs on? Thought there was. Okay. All right, well, we'll put that off to the next meeting then, so people know we're working on it. And the same thing with Liberty Lawn Care.
That's not supposed to.
We'll wait. That's not
That's not posted.
That's not posted either, which is strange because we already did that.
Yeah, I thought that was already done.
Did that, but the only change that he's doing really is he's putting a basement on the part of it. So really, we'll just look at it next time and see.
For storage or?
Storage,
Yeah.
So, I mean, it makes sense to me to do something like that if you're building on top, so. But we can't, so. Jessica just put down, could not review because not posted. Okay, now we get Albert. Any reports from the town?
I don't have anything. The only thing I have is a question. Are you folks able to go to the sites and look at these jobs
Oh,
at all? I know you go, Howard, but
Yeah.
you go?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
all right. I just wondered if there was any problems with,
Oh,
I know some of you guys are working during the day, but if there's.
well, they probably worked. on it.
Yeah, I work on a lot of these projects.
Yeah,
Oh, you,
Yeah, most of
I
them.
know them.
all right.
So they know.
And you haven't had any problems, Howard, with,
No, I call up who's ever the engineer or the contact, and I write an email and
We're
the
coming.
problems, and I get to all of them.
I went to the police department, they took my picture and they made me an ID card.
Yeah, yeah, we all have ID cards, or we
oh, you
should.
do? Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was gonna,
I also have a hat from the old days, so I wear my hat with my card and they, hi.
that was done a couple of
About
years
the
ago.
time I got
Yeah.
walking on the property years ago. No, we've done what the chief said, and we got
Yeah.
our badges and stuff like that.
If you wanna see them, we have them in the car.
You go right to the police,
Yeah.
general, take your picture.
So they'll take.
Yeah, anytime they're open.
And then you just go knock on their door and say, hi,
Hi.
I'm with the town, is this a good time?
Yes, CAC.
I find if you start walking around people's properties, you get a little,
Yeah, right.
Especially with
What are you
the
doing? Yeah.
ring.
know everything, yeah.
That's how I got caught walking around, you know.
Yeah.
But it's a good thing to let the people know.
I think so, it's their property.
And I did it this time, so it was the week before Thanksgiving, so we wouldn't disturb anybody walking and stuff. It's fine, it's no big deal, so. The only thing I have for you is what is our preservation properties? You know, we give that list every year.
Yeah, I gotta follow up again with that.
Yeah,
I will
I know Ken's
follow
very,
up again.
Ken is very busy and he's doing a great job on that recycling plant there. I mean, he's got signs posted where to put everything and he's really cleaned up that site. And I think it's very important because today, you know, with the minerals that are used in solar panels being thrown in there and the lithium batteries and stuff, people can really get hurt. So I think he's doing a great job. I don't, you know, the items we had are not pressing, they've been there for a while, so, but I just would like a response
Sure.
that, that's all. Okay, any old business? We talked about dark skies, but it's an interesting thing today, especially you see the new cameras, they show your whole house lit up, the fascia and everything. And also, I've been noticing a lot more, we can't really tell people, close your shades or something. People are keeping their lights on at night, and it's just, the dark skies is,
Yeah,
so we should take a look at that section of code, maybe revise
yeah,
it.
my husband and I started that, we put it together
Yeah,
pretty much,
take a look. at
years
it.
ago, yeah. I haven't looked at it for a long while, but anyway.
Let's see, anybody have any new business we should end the year with and start off fresh in the next year? January's meeting is January 7th, I think it is, right? Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
Good. And we've changed all the meetings to 7 o'clock. I hope that everybody.
That's good.
So,
Yeah.
how's the baby doing? No, well, a baby, yeah.
Be driving soon.
It's already driving.
All right, then, anybody in the Zoom audience have any questions or things? Pam, Lori, Gordon, or Karen? Otherwise, I say everybody have
Howard,
a.
let me just wish you all a very happy holidays coming up. God bless all your families.
Yeah.
Enjoy it. And we'll see you in January.
Yes,
Okay.
January
Sounds
7th.
great.
Thank you, Pam.
Thanks, Pam.
And everybody else, have a very happy, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We'll see you in the New Year. Thank you for all showing up.
Yes.
That's terrific.
Thank you, Howard.